Hi guys, it's me Lindsay and I am back with another paranormal story. Now this is not my own story, but this is a legend that haunts the town of Abbeville, Alabama for years and years and years. And is still a tale they tell today to scare their children into coming home on time. This local legend is called Huggin Molly. Now Huggin Molly is based off a story that was told hundreds of years ago about a woman dressed in black, often referred to as the woman in black. She would lurk the dark streets of Abbeville, Alabama in search of children that she could find, grab, hug, and then kill. Creepy. The reason she went out in search of children was because she was grieving the loss of her own child who died as an infant. The legend of Huggin Molly stems from the woman in black. Some people believe that the woman in black and Huggin Molly aren't necessarily ghosts, but specters of sorts, maybe even humans with magical powers. Witches, basically. Stories say that she is 7 feet tall with long black hair, a pale face, and is always wearing a black hood or a black cape with a hood, or sometimes a black giant rimmed hat to cover her face and conceal her identity. For years and years and years, Huggin Molly has plagued the town of Abbeville, Alabama, and many citizens have lived to tell the tale, actually. The story always is told differently, especially with these urban legends like Huggin Molly. But the scariest version of this story is this, and I'll read it for you. On a cold, dark, rainy night, so bitterly cold, damp and dark, when even street lights won't burn, and the striking of a match refuses to yield the tiniest flame. On nights like this, Huggin Molly comes out of her lair and roams the streets of Abbeville to see whom she can find. The parents of Abbeville, Alabama usually tell this tale to their children in order to, give them a little push to come home on time, to come home before dark, and to make sure that they are home safe. I mean, I can definitely tell you that my parents have told me things like that in order for me to behave, or in order for me to follow the rules or whatever. You know how it is. But it's not just a wise tale that parents tell their children so they come home on time. People have actually seen the woman in black, or Huggin Molly, whatever you want to call her. She creepy. This legend has been haunting the people of Abbeville, Alabama since the early 1900s, and now. One account is given by Matt Gregory, who owned Abbeville's Lawson Gregory grocery store for over 60 years. He recalls meeting the infamous Huggin Molly one night after delivering groceries to the store. At this point, it was definitely dark out, and back in the day, they didn't have any street lamps on the road. Soon it became so dark that he couldn't even see the path ahead of him. All of a sudden, he heard footsteps behind him and decided to turn around. And there behind him was the looming figure of Huggin Molly. Specter appeared to be keeping pace with his footsteps, and when he got faster, it got faster. Afraid, but curious to see what it would do, he slowed his steps, and the ghostly figure did the same, keeping his gait. Afraid to run, he kept a fast pace towards his house, which was only a block away at this point. Once he saw the steps of his house, he broke back into a run, opened the door to his house, which wasn't locked at the time. It was back in the day and no one really locked their doors, and then he escaped into the safety of his home. Let's just say that after this, he managed to complete grocery runs before dark. A similar story is told by Marion Glover Leonard. She suggested that Huggin Molly also scared the adults as well. She tells a story of her neighbor. She told a story of her neighbor who was a teenager. His name was James Robert Shell. Like Matt Gregory, he also experienced Huggin Molly trailing behind him as he was walking home one night. As he got closer to his house, he saw his mom standing at the front door, shouting and beckoning him to run as fast as he could and get inside the house, as she too saw Huggin Molly chasing after her boy. Huggin Molly has not always been a ghostly specter roaming the streets of Abbeville. Back in the 1950s and 60s, a professor dressed up just like Huggin Molly to scare the students at the college that he taught at. He did this to scare them into going home and to stop roaming the streets late at night, causing any trouble. To this day, no one knows who Huggin Molly is. Whether Huggin Molly was a ghostly specter, a witch, or just one of the townspeople. Stories have been passed down through generations and generations of families. And Huggin Molly is still used today as basically the town's mascot. They even have a diner named after her called Huggin Molly's with apparently pretty good food. So my question to you is, do you believe Huggin Molly is real? Would you chance going out at night alone, roaming the streets of Abbeville, Alabama, to see if you can catch a glimpse of what she looks like and a scream to the air? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you would like me to cover any more urban legends, ghost stories, conspiracies, what have you, and I'll be happy to do research for it. Thank you guys, and I hope you have an awesome day wherever you are. I hope you enjoyed watching this video wherever you are in the world, and I will see ya sometime. Bye.